Not bad. All right, folks, today we are finally there. We're finally getting at the Empire Strikes Back novel. Oh, I know, you've all been waiting for this for months, as I have. And so here we finally are at Empire Strikes Back, the novelization. Now remember, this is a review about the novelization and not the movie, just like I did with New Hope. Donald Glut hadn't written much. He hadn't written anything in the expanded universe, but at this time in his life, he'd written like a few little things. I don't really know how he got this job. I guess I should have looked it up. I'm sure there's an interview online that would have told me. But however he got it, Donald Glut got to write the Empire Strikes Back novel, which isn't much outside of the movie. Now, back in the day, he probably got to see a few movie steals, some of the production. I'm sure he got to see some of the art, because in the book, Yoda is blue, just like in the artwork. So there's a few things that Donald Glut didn't get to see the movie, obviously, but he did get to see the script, probably, maybe, like I said, maybe a few scenes and some production art, and that's what he had to go off of. And so you get to see some of the things that you did not see in the movie, like there's a scene where Yoda throws up a stick in the book, and Luke chops at it, and there's 4 pieces that fall, and Yoda goes, well, if you were a Jedi, there'd be 8. Now, what that has to do with Jedi training, I have no idea. But that was just one of the ideas that Lucas had written down, and they decided not to go with in the movie. Now, was that scene ever filmed? Were some of these scenes from Empire Strikes Back filmed for the movie, and just we've never seen the deleted scenes? Possibly there's some stuff in there, but overall, I think he just got to read a rough draft of the script, and that's what he was building a lot of his book off of. Now, of course, this book was covered in the Marvel Comics as well. Marvel Comics issues 39 to 44 actually covered the entire Empire Strikes Back series. It was part of their ongoing line. They didn't do anything special like they would do for Jedi. They'd make their own mini-series for Jedi. But back then, the ongoing comic book was pretty big stuff. So when Empire Strikes Back came out, months later, they did their own Empire Strikes Back. The comic books were meh, but the novel is okay too. Is it worth your read? I don't know. Not really, maybe, because it's basically straightforward and basically taken page for page out of the movie. And that's what a lot of book novelizations to movies were back then. A lot of authors didn't feel that they could write out, other things and expand from the movie. They just did their job, took their paycheck, and went home. And I totally understand that. Now, the thing that I find funny is back in 1980, or even up through 78 through 1978 to 1980, people were going nuts to figure out what the new Star Wars is going to be like. What is the sequel to Star Wars going to be like? And they would call numbers that cost you $2 a minute. And Luke Skywalker or someone else would do a pre-recorded message to give you a clue of what you might see in Empire Strikes Back. And this is 1980. And so people are wasting their time getting on the phone, listening to their, their favorite stars talk about the movie for $2 a minute, which for the price of 2 calls, they could have just run out and bought the paperback because it came out a month before the movie. And it had all the spoilers in it too. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't have known what color Yoda was, but big deal, right? And of course their imagination would have been different than what they would have seen in the movie, but the spoiler came out in a big book, and it was, big back then, the novelization to Empire Strikes Back. All people had to do was read that book. Now, to be honest, I was around back then. I obviously couldn't read. I was, I think, 3 at the time. So, but would I have done that? Yeah, definitely. Definitely back then as a kid, to know anything ahead of time, I would have. Now, when the prequel novels came out, of course, I waited and watched the movie before I read the book. But the prequel novels even came out before the book, too. And remember, episode 1 was under tight wraps as well. But the book came out at least a month before the movie, and I remember that. I was thinking, well, there it is, right there. If you want to know everything, all the spoilers are in that book. And I wonder if that's a tradition they keep today. I don't look at novelizations to 7, 8, or 9, but I wonder if they're still coming out a month earlier, or if they're coming out the weekend of. I'd imagine it can't be that far off from the release date these days because they still don't want leaks coming out, even though the book comes out way in advance. Anyway, Empire Strikes Back, okay, not really that much outside the movie. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. See you next time with another video.